Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is the 8th of January. What a year it's been so far. A lot of people are saying, you know what? I would like to cancel my subscription after my free trial of 1 week of 2021. It's not working out. Just don't think it's going to work out.
I'm not going to pay for it.
Exactly. I'm not
Could you not charge my credit card, please?
That's right. That's right. All right. So we have a mind-blowing show for you guys today. Yes, Christina, you are correct that Trump has been permanently banned from Twitter. And I don't know if he's been permanently banned from Twitter, but he has been suspended again. But we're going to talk about the purge. We're going to talk about what we are going to do moving forward for you guys, our viewers.
So you have one choice.
We're giving you one choice.
You have one choice.
Leah's giving you one choice.
If you want, you can either follow yourself, you can either go into hiding and into a bunker and turn off all the news, or you can make sure that you are following your favorite people
wherever they go.
BitChute, Rumble, JoshWhoTV, and you've got our email. I want you to write this down, massfaith33@gmail.com. If you go to Resistance Chicks, am I correct? And you sign up to get
Resistance Chicks emails.
You can get Resistance Chicks emails. Okay?
At resistancechicks.com.
If there is some sort of, if we're purged from one of these major platforms, we will send out an email blast to everybody.
Well, I'll make a post on Resistance Chicks and then it'll show up as a post in your email. I don't do an email list. I don't have one.
So if we post it, it goes to the people's email? Mm-hmm. Is that how that works?
If they sign up for the email.
Sign up for the emails. Okay, every time everybody asks me to do that, I think it's retarded. But then, do you know how many people have signed up for their emails lately?
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, we're going like old school.
Right.
We're going back in time. Remember in the 90s when all the cool information was shared from your friends on like this big chain, and then everybody could copy back to the big chain? We used to have these conversations. I remember like when Columbine happened, and there was this huge chain email, and we were chain arguing with, and everybody could read it back and forth.
Literally,
do you remember those
Facebook.
days before Facebook? These chain,
and then you
emails.
like remove yourself from the chain.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop emailing me.
That's what's got to happen. One of these big platforms is going to burst forth with, I'm sure, a chat and a live stream.
Right.
I want you to stick with me. But at the end of the show, we'll probably do our show like we do for like an hour and a half. We normally do a 2-hour show. We're going to stop the YouTube stream.
I know you guys are going to get mad.
Here's the thing. I don't really care too much about my Facebook page because they have censored that thing. It's not even on life support. It doesn't even breathe.
Right.
Okay. People, you can go to Resistance Chicks. Okay.
On Facebook.
You can go there.
On Facebook.
But you can't. It doesn't I don't even think it autofills. Right. It certainly doesn't. Resistance Chicks won't autofill on YouTube. You know, like you start to put in like Donald and then Trump will come up. You put in Resistance Chicks and it barely comes up. It's just so funny. I love that we are so censored, that we are so special.
We are so special.
But I'm going to break down some of the numbers for you.
At some
important numbers, but not on YouTube. Okay? So
if you want to see the entire video, you can wait for and you are adamantly against Twitter and Facebook, that's fine. I take no offense.
I don't know which
You can watch the end of the shows on BitChute and Rumble.
And we may be to the point where we have to like live stream on DLive and then we upload to BitChute and Rumble.
If I can even figure out how to live stream on DLive, guys.
You know what? Other people are like, I don't even know how it works.
I cannot figure it out.
I couldn't figure it out either.
Everybody's live streaming to DLive.
I went there honestly and I couldn't figure it out myself.
I'm like, I'm pretty savvy and I'm not figuring this out. So we'll find one, and I think it's
Well, we can live stream on Periscope. It is not Twitter, right? Twitter uses Periscope, right? But
Twitter owns Periscope, and it's going to go away at the end of March.
Right.
It's going bye-bye. So.
Well, we only need to get a few weeks.
We only need to get a few weeks. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Right.
So anyway, that's the plan moving forward. So at the end of the show, we'll let you know when. We will give you the hard stop.
So other people are on this locals thing, but it's a paywall. we're on Parlor, so definitely find us on Parlor because we can tweet things out, we can record things, we can put things up, we can record things and put things on our website.
Oh, absolutely.
Videos. Absolutely. And then we can take them and then we can record things, we can put them on Parlor. I don't think that we're not the only ones figuring out where we're going to go, right? Because here, Donald Trump was the latest person, but Sidney Powell, Mike Flynn, Tracy Beanz,
Dan Bongino,
and
Dan Bongino left of his own accord after he got a 12-hour suspension. He just said, enough. When my 12 hours is up, I'm gone. I'm leaving. And I'm proud of him for that. They probably would have deleted him permanently anyway, but I am proud of him for that.
Yeah, so
exactly, Miss Sincere. I stole that from someone else and put it in the description, but they are just Thanos snapping people off of Twitter into oblivion. Now, I've got some good news. I promised them your prophecy at the end of the show. Okay. I did. But I have a prophecy. It was actually a dream that God gave me that it was like the end of Narnia, and all of these frozen people were unthawed and started falling out of trees and coming back to life. That was like a year ago. Mm-hmm. And I told Leah that I know exactly what the interpretation of that dream is. God is talking about the people that have been banned and unpersoned off of the internet. Little did I know at the time, I thought he was talking about the Tommy Robinsons and the Alex Joneses, the people that had already been deplatformed. I didn't know that he was actually God was showing me that it was going to get far worse and people were going to be unpersoned and Thanos snapped into oblivion. If you guys haven't seen Avengers, I can't help you with this analogy here. But I believe that dream is for now.
Oh, absolutely.
But more people are going to get frozen between now and then.
I probably should read the prophecy at the beginning because it may help everybody calm down for the rest of the news.
Sure.
But here is Twitter explaining why Trump is gone.
Oh, he's gone for good.
Well, I don't know. President Trump's statement that he will not be attending the inauguration is being received by a number of his supporters as further confirmation that the election was not legitimate and is seen as him disavowing his previous claim via 2 tweets. This sounds so
childish,
but it sounds so it's 1984. You disavow it's CCP. It's Communist China.
I know, yeah,
you said you disavowed Jesus, and then you said there was a God. Do you remember? You know what I'm talking about?
Exactly,
like, have you seen the movies where they make you disavow things? What's that one movie where we saw with a Catholic priest in Japan?
Oh, that was a terrible movie.
That was hard to watch.
Hard to get through,
yeah. The claim via 2 tweets by his Deputy Chief of Staff, Dan Scavino, that there would be an orderly transition. Isn't it great that Twitter has decided how the government needs to go? Mm-hmm. It's almost as if Twitter is the government.
Right. Oh. No, but I think they would gladly wear that badge. Yes, when our current administration has failed us. And Twitter has to step in and become a volunteer, patriotic arm of the government.
Wait, I got a question. Did they suspend anybody who didn't attend Donald Trump's inauguration?
I was wondering about that too. Yeah, I don't think that Nancy went. Did she?
She went.
Did she?
It was
Did
a bunch
Maxine
of little
go?
ones. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
The second tweet.
Was Hillary there?
Oh, yeah. She loves to be there.
She was there?
Yeah. Remember our big video with...
Oh, that's right. With Bill
Clinton
and
checking out Ivanka?
Yeah, yep.
The second tweet may also serve as encouragement to those potentially considering violent acts at the inauguration, that the inauguration would be a safe target, as he will not be attending. What is that even supposed to mean? A safe target as he will not be attending so they could blow people up. Like, what is that? Mm-hmm. Like, that right there. Nobody thought about that. You did.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you people? You sick, twisted people. The use of the words American patriots to describe some of his supporters is also being interpreted as support for those committing violent acts at the Capitol.
Oh my gosh.
The mention of his supporters having a giant voice long into the future, and that they will not be disrespected or treated unfairly in any way, shape, or form, is being interpreted as further indication that President Trump does not plan to facilitate an orderly transition, and instead that he plans to continue to support, empower, and shield those who believe he won the election. Oh. 74 million people.
He's got a big shield.
This stuff right here is fantastic.
No, it's so good.
It's I'm gonna do this over here. I'm gonna put this over here because it is when they go full Nazi.
I know.
That's
so
never
exciting.
a good sign. Because
no, but it's never a good sign for them.
Because I'm gonna tell you what, this is what I told Michelle. They started to
holy smokes.
So
it's just starting to get good.
Capitol happened, and I'm gonna show you some videos. Capitol happened, and we have never once condoned the people going into the building. I think 75 million Trump supporters are against those people that went in that building. Raise your hand if you're against the people that stormed the Capitol. The people that led the charge. Raise your hand if you're against the people that opened the barricades to let them in. Raise your hand if you're against the people that let the doors open that let those people in. Oh, the Capitol Police, you mean?
Yeah, those
Capitol
ones.
Police that opened the door and let everybody in?
Mm-hmm. We have video footage of a police officer looking at these people as he's opening the door saying, I don't agree with it. Implying, I don't agree that I'm having to let you in.
I'm going to show you the video. What this does, though, is so funny. We had this universal condemnation and this, like, huge people unfriending people. If you're a Trump supporter, we had some guy got fired from his job at a law firm because he was just there. Like, 1 million people there. Imagine if they fired everyone at a BLM march. They just fired you all.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that great? Just nobody be working. But
everybody in the chat raising their hands, y'all know who actually stormed and led the charge into the Capitol building.
But here's the thing. So, universal condemnation of blah, 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 storming the Capitol. And people were just spitting mad at Trump. Kimberly Strassel, she even jumped ship or made this huge thing. Trump's whole legacy is now gone because of what he encouraged and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wait till my next stream. But what they're doing right now is like people like Britt Hume who even have a semblance of a fair mind, right? People who have a semblance of a fair mind are just going to have to come back and be like, oh my gosh, now you're going to make me support him or defend him yet again. Right. Ron Paul is so angry at Trump for all this stuff. And at the end, he's like, I thought he was going to win. Kind of hoped he would win. Mm-hmm. He did hope he would win. He knows all about Biden and all this stuff.
Miss Sincere, we are on Parlor. We're on Parlor as Mass Faith 3. That's me. And Resistance Chicks.
And so what's absolutely hilarious is that now all the people who jumped ship on Trump and Trump supporters are having to come back and be like, no, you're making me defend him again. And then Trump is a sympathetic character.
I need to clarify something for you guys because I have not had time and I am going to take time this week, I promise you, on our webpage, resistancechicks.com. For some reason, on your mobile phones, it's not working. It's on your tablet will work and your PC will work. Laptops will work. Cell phones are not working for resistancechicks.com. I'm sorry about that. I have to look into it. It's been that way for, I think, a few months. And we've been so busy for the past couple of months. I haven't had time. It's going to take me a little bit to get it figured out. I apologize. I'm sorry. I will get to it, though.
Maybe somebody wants to make us an app. Just kidding. In Big Tech's most recent censorship sweep on Friday, Twitter permanently suspended the accounts of General Flynn, Powell, and now Tracy
God.
Beanz.
Like, I'm actually, like, just
and now Donald Trump.
Finally. Okay, because Trump is not going to not be able to. So he's going to have to choose the platform. If it's Gab, which we are there, but we aren't there. We haven't been there in ages. If we have to go back to Gab, we'll go back to Gab. If it's Parlor, wherever Trump is going, the whole world will go.
We've been clear that we will take strong enforcement action on behavior that has potential to lead to offline harm. That's not exactly true. We've showed you the videos where they said it, where Jake Tapper and Cuomo, all saying when it was a protest supposed to be peaceful, they bailed out. They allow the people who bailed out people who burned the cities down So they're not exactly telling the truth.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I've been parlaying, because we have to stop saying tweet because I want to be done with it. I have been parlaying out our streams to YouTube. What I will start doing is parlaying out the stream to Facebook, and then whichever one we go to, who is it that's getting a live stream soon? BitChute?
Supposedly.
Whichever one we jump to, that will be the one that I will put on Parler and my own personal Facebook page. And so if you find us on Parler and on our website, it's going to be on our website because I've already been doing that. That's how you'll be able to find us. All right, let's get to the news.
All right. According to Twitter's harmful activity policy, violators who blah 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 blah. So any accounts dedicated to sharing QAnon content. They already did a huge big.
They already do that.
So they also did Ron Watkins, who runs the website 8kun, formerly known as 8chan. The Techno Fog, an account dedicated to providing breaking news information about Flynn's court case, was also purged. And the ban comes just days after Twitter placed a lock on Trump's account. Facebook and Instagram also announced that they banned Trump from their platforms for an indefinite period of time, beginning Thursday, citing Wednesday's tumultuous, destructive events at the Capitol as one of the main reasons. Over the last several years, we've allowed President Trump to use our platform consistent with our own rules, at times removing content or labeling his posts when they violate our policies. We did this because we believe the public has a right to the broadest possible access to political speech, even controversial speech. But the current context is now fundamentally different, involving use of our platform to incite violent insurrection against a democratically elected government.
Isn't that so funny? Because it, to me, didn't look anything like a violent insurrection against a democratically elected government in Portland or any of these other places where they lit cities on fire. They took over a police precinct. Obviously, none of that was a violent overtaking of anything.
Donald Trump was quoted as saying, "I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peaceably and patriotically make your voices heard."
Right.
Yes, he said it will be wild. That doesn't... People have songs. It's going to be wild. Doesn't mean they're going to go and storm the Capitol and insurrect, whatever. This is some crazy times. Now, 10 times, Democrats urge violence against Trump and his supporters. While Democratic politicians and the corporate media blame Trump for the mob riot at the Capitol on Wednesday, saying his rhetoric incited violence, many of these same lawmakers and bureaucrats have for years called for violence and physical action against those who have believed differently. Hate to break it to you, but if Trump won, there would have been violence on Wednesday, and it most certainly would have been worse. How do I know? Because Democrats have been endorsing violence as a political tactic throughout the Trump administration, wrote Grabian founder Tom Elliott on Twitter. In an extensive thread, Elliott outlined many examples of Democratic politicians and their leftists and other leftists advocating for violence as a response to conservatives. In 2018, Democratic Representative Ted Lieu of California said on MSNBC that if Trump fired Special Counsel Robert Mueller, there would be widespread civil unrest and people would take to the streets. Similarly, former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper agreed that if Trump fired Mueller, it would set off a firestorm not only on the Hill but also in the streets.
If the president does go ahead and fire Robert Mueller, we would have people take to the streets. I believe there would be widespread unrest because Americans understand that the rule of law is paramount.
You think there would be civil unrest, widespread civil unrest?
I do. I think you're going to have protests and marches and rallies and sit-ins. I believe Americans would not stand for the firing of Robert Mueller. First of all, the president hasn't been able to point to a single thing that Robert Mueller has done wrong. There is no basis to fire him, and he'd had to fire Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein.
What's the danger if Donald Trump wakes up angry, watches Fox and Friends, and fires Bob Mueller?
Well, I hope he doesn't do that.
He wakes up angry and watches Fox and Friends in those days.
It would set off a firestorm. I think there would be, not only on the Hill, but in the streets. And I really think that would be a bad thing to happen.
I think Rod Rosenstein is probably more.
Wow, that same year, Senator Cory Booker urged people to answer a call to action. Please get up in the face of some Congress people.
Before I end, that's my call to action here. Please don't just come here today and then go home. Go to the Hill today. Get up and please get up in the face of some Congress people.
You cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about. That's why I believe if we are fortunate enough to win back the House and/or the Senate, that's when civility can start again. But until then, the only thing that the Republicans seem to recognize and respect is strength. And you heard how the Republican members, led by Mitch McConnell, the president, really demeaned the confirmation process.
So we can't have civility. No. Former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder encouraged a group of liberal activists to go fight.
It is time for us as Democrats to be as tough as they are, to be as dedicated as they are, to be as committed as they are. Michelle always says, Michelle Obama, I love her, you know. She and my wife like really tight, which always scares me and Barack. But Michelle always says that,
they don't want you to.
You know, when they go low, we go high. No. When they go low, we kick them.
When they go low, we kick them.
That's what this new Democratic Party.
They did not. That video is buffering.
We're proud as hell to be Democrats. We're willing to fight for the ideals of the Democratic Party. We're proud of our history. We're proud of our present. We're proud of the future that we can create for this country. And
okay, you got that. You got it.
You get the idea.
All right.
It's looking increasingly, and you heard the president say this, declaring a national emergency is on the table. What is your reaction to that as a method of reopening the government?
I hope that he doesn't take us down that path. If he does that, we'll file a motion or a resolution of disapproval in the Congress right away and ask for a vote on it. We'll also fight him and challenge him in every way that we can, in the Congress, in the courts, and in the streets and protests.
In the streets. You're only allowed to take to the streets.
Already, you have members
you can't take to the
of your cabinet that have been booed out of restaurants, who have protesters taking up at their house, who's saying no peace, no sleep. No peace, no sleep. And guess what? We're going to win this battle because while you try and quote the Bible, Jeff Sessions and others, you really don't know the Bible. God is on our side. On the side of the children. On the side of what's right. On the side of what's honorable. On the side of understanding that if we can't protect the children, we can't protect anybody. And so, let's stay the course. Let's make sure we show up wherever we have to show up. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And you push back on them, says Maxine.
Healing.
And I love how she's
and yet,
save the children. That's our line. If we can't save the children, then we can't save anybody. We're trying to save babies in the womb, sister.
people do want to see us be stronger and more forceful and to confront them on these policies. And I'm hopeful that even Democrats haven't seen the kind of outpouring of protests, over 700 incidences of protests this weekend. Seeing that, they will be more forceful, more confrontational, and more prepared to push back on this administration. I think that the people are showing them this is what they would have us do.
Well, that's so nice.
Okay, how much of this do we have to go
It is not for the faint of heart. It's difficult, more difficult now, especially for women, because women are not. as I say to them, you're in the arena. Once you get into the arena, this is again, not for the faint of heart. It's Sunday morning, I know I just came from Mass, but nonetheless, I'll say this. When you're in the arena, you got to be ready to take a punch. You got to be ready to throw a punch for the children. For the children.
Always for the children. She's so weird. For the children. She's such a creep.
Well, I think you don't take the bait that President Trump came out here. You say that what he has done is absolutely disgraceful to the country and call it for what it is, which is racism. And then you talk about things like high cost of health care, high cost of higher education, what you're going to do on the southern border to help stop the situation that's down there. I think the kind of issues that really hit home, how you're going to invest in infrastructure and how you're going to pay for it. I think those are the issues that really will move the folks who will get you elected. And I don't think, even in states where Donald Trump won big, that it does you any good running away from Donald Trump. I think you need to go back and punch him in the face. I mean, the truth is this guy...
Punch him in the face. Punch him in the face.
Punch them in the face. They're so nice. So Joe Biden had a speech, and I didn't want to play it for you because I just don't want his words to ring into your ears.
Okay.
But in it, he compares Holly and Cruz to the Nazi propagandist. And so Holly tweeted back, President-elect Biden has just compared me and another Republican senator to Nazis. You read that correctly. Think about that for a moment. Let it sink in, because I raised questions in the format prescribed by the laws of the United States about the way elections were conducted in the state of Pennsylvania, just as Democrats did about other states in 2001, 2005, and 2017. He is calling me a Nazi. This is undignified, immature, and intemperate behavior from the president-elect. It is utterly shameful. He should act like a dignified adult and retract these sick comments, and every Democrat member of Congress should be asked to disavow these disgusting comments. And I say to Josh Hawley, you should have contested all of them. All of them. You shouldn't have allowed them to kowtow you.
By Antifa. Oh my gosh, we have so much evidence about Antifa storming the Capitol. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Black Lives Matter bail fund supported by Kamala Harris has helped free 6 men accused of domestic violence in 2 months. The Black Lives Matter bail fund, supported by Kamala Harris over the summer, had reportedly helped free 6 men accused of domestic violence in 2 months. They received $35 million, thanks in part to the sharing and the free press it received, not only from Harris, but Steve Carell, Seth Rogen. According to the statements of probable cause obtained by the Daily Caller, there were people who, one man allegedly broke into his son's mother's apartment and strangled her in front of her young children. Another man, 28, allegedly strangled a woman just days after they moved in together. Another man assaulted his girlfriend, and another man left a larger than golf-sized bump on his wife's head. Another man allegedly assaulted his partner and 2 officers who came to arrest him. The 6 criminals were bailed out by the MFF, the Caller report, the Minnesota Freedom Fund. The organization was backed by Kamala Harris in June. She says if you're able to, chip in now for the Minnesota Freedom Fund to help post bail for those protesting on the grounds in Minnesota. At least 13 Biden campaign staff members made donations to the fund. A New York bill would allow health officials to detain suspected disease carriers for 60 days and force vaccines.
Get out of New York. Leave now.
A Democratic assemblyman in New York has proposed a bill that would allow the governor and state health officials to mandate COVID-19 vaccines and detain anyone deemed a danger to public health.
Holy smokes. That's so broad, though, right? Like, if you support Trump, you could be a danger to public health. So they say.
Bill A416 is sponsored by Assemblyman Nick Perry And it would enable the governor or his delegates, including but not limited to the commissioner or the heads of local departments, to order the removal and or detention of anyone who presents a potential danger to the health of others. Now, remember in California this year, you know what they did? They decriminalized the spreading of knowingly spreading the HIV. Knowingly. Under the bill, any official with delegated authority and at least a reasonably specific description of the individuals or groups being detained would be able to confine people by obtaining a court order. Detainment could occur in a medical facility or an appropriate facility. Moreover, the person could be taken into custody of the department merely for being suspected case or a suspected carrier. It also allows the governor and state officials to let detainees who challenge their confinement continue for more than 5 business days in isolation.
About this
in the absence of a court order.
Oh, wow. I'm curious about this forced vaccine thing, right? So raise your hand if you understand that a vaccine, if it is a proper one, vaccines are only intended to prevent you from getting a disease. They can't cure you from the disease. So that's called a cure. Okay. We don't have a cure for COVID-19 in the form of a vaccine. It doesn't work that way. So if what they're trying to say is they can detain you if you are sick, let's say, and have COVID-19, and then they can force a COVID-19 vaccine on you.
The governor or his or her delegee may, in his or her discretion, issue and seek enforcement of any other orders that he or she determines are necessary or appropriate to prevent dissemination or transmission of contagious diseases or other illnesses that may pose a threat to the public health and require an individual who has been exposed or to be infected by a contagious disease to complete an appropriate prescribed course of treatment, preventative medication, or vaccination. So here's the thing. If you have it, why would you need a vaccine for it?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't want to freak you out, so we'll get beyond that.
If you're living in New York, you might consider a migration. You know what I'm saying?
This is from Judicial Watch, and they were able to share this on Twitter. They said they collected voter data showing more than 4,700 absentee voters in the presidential election listed non-residential addresses as their place of residence. Georgia law actually requires citizens to register to vote or and to reside in that place in which such person's habitation is fixed. A total of 9,989 Georgia voters seem to be registered at non-residential addresses. About 8,800 at commercial addresses. We'll probably go over a little bit more of those numbers on a separate stream.
Okay.
A Trump supporter was punched and has now been doxxed by her liberal daughter and has been fired from her job.
Wow. You can't trust family.
You can't trust the family.
Family's not thicker than blood like they say. So it looks to me, I'm trying to get on Gab because we do have a Gab account. Because someone in the chat had said that, I don't know if I'm blocking cookies or not, had said that Trump moved to Gab yesterday. Does anybody have a confirmation on that?
So this woman was punched. This woman who was punched and left bloody by a drunk Black Lives Matter supporter during the Trump protest in D.C. on Tuesday was doxxed by her own liberal daughter on social media. The vindictive child also doxxed her aunt and uncle, leading to threats against the entire family. Her mother and aunt have also now lost their jobs.
Oh my gosh.
You've
been punched in the face, you lose a job. Oh, that seems fair. Totally fair. All right, I'll check out Gab later, but interestingly enough, Gab is moving slower than molasses, and Parler won't do anything right now. I have a sneaking suspicion they are just... The amount of patriots moving over to those platforms is crashing the system, so try not to get frustrated with it. Give it some time. Be patient. They've been trying to gear up for this. Gab's been sending me emails letting me know that they're gearing up for this, but they are also under attack from PSYOPs as well, so says the Gab email.
Now, somebody sent me a message, and I don't want to call them out, and I just want to encourage you, because it's hard for me to do things like personally. because I don't really like to get in people's personal business. So I come on the show and I make things broad statements. Somebody had messaged me and said, my kids were coming home with some liberal ideology and it was kind of scary. And so we had to sit them down and talk them through it. And I really love your show. Keep, because Michelle had said something about the indoctrination of school and we're keeping an eye on it. And I would just say this, homeschool, private school, you can't keep an eye on it. You're going to end up with a kid 9 times out of 10 who will dox you and get you to lose your job.
No, it's true.
No matter how much you love your children, you don't know what kind of seeds. You may not, your kids, you may be lucky. You may be lucky and maybe your kids are able to get through the major brainwashing. We're brainwashed and conditioned to do what our elders tell us to do. We're always told, believe your teacher, follow your teacher, obey your teacher. It's a brainwashing. It's Pavlov's dogs. Look up what that means. Ring the bell for food, and you hear the bell, you come for food. It's a horrible experiment that they did on dogs.
Everybody's having issues with Parlor. Either it's an attack or it's just crashing because we're all going there. Just be patient.
Probably all just going there, right? They were all going there. Okay. So anyways,
are you watching your followers?
I don't care. They never
already,
go up.
They already
never
take them
go
from
up.
you.
They never go
everybody's
up.
posting on Twitter how they're losing these massive amounts of followers. And I was just curious if you watched.
I've been on Twitter for 3 years. I've been at the same amount of Twitter.
4 years.
I get these notifications. So and so followed you. So and so followed you. So and so followed you. Everybody follow. These people follow you. And then my numbers never go up. So I don't even bother looking at the Twitter numbers, honestly.
I just would be curious. I just checked it out now. I've made a mental screenshot for you.
Yeah, nobody. We see they go for the big accounts, which is weird because I don't know why we haven't ever.
The Lord.
I know why. I know
the Lord.
No, I know exactly why. I remember in 2017 I started my Twitter account. I hadn't done much. I post a tweet to Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, and I come back and I log out and what they do is you can see it. It's at the top, right? My tweet's there. It doesn't get likes, it doesn't get retweets, it doesn't get comments.
And you found out that day you were shadow banned.
Yeah, and there's an algorithm, and I don't know exactly how it works, but if somebody does find you and follow you, then the people underneath can see your comment, but not very many of them. It's very interesting when one of my tweets gets through the algorithm in some way. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's I'll have one that goes, I've got 100 retweets and 100 likes, and it's like, wow, I know most people.
Well, what's interesting is,
but I'm lucky to get 1 or 2 people to see it.
So we have VPN protection now, but your account's already flagged, so it doesn't matter. You'd have to start a whole new account, which we're going to do that on other platforms.
That. Yeah, I tried that. Okay. All right. So, yeah, homeschool your kids. Get your kids out of that brainwashing because they're going to they drop seeds and lies. And you don't know what seed or lie is there until it comes into fruition, maybe 3 or 4 years down the road. And suddenly your kid's at a Black Lives Matter rally. And like this one, doxing her mom.
Unbelievable.
Right?
We are on Twitter as Resistance Chicks without the K at the end. Resistance Chicks. I guess that was Resistance Chicks with the K was already taken. But it doesn't matter. I'm not going to encourage you to follow us there. If you're going to follow us anywhere, be following us on Parlor. And we're still on Facebook. You can still
if you
follow us
watched
there.
our video last night, I don't know. I'll go ahead and
if it's in the history, I can just go grab it.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
I know. I didn't tweet this out.
It's in your history on YouTube, man.
Okay. Well, I'll tweet it out.
Calm down.
Millie put this together. It's a short. She's good at this.
Yeah, she's.
Well, I think Gavin does.
Gavin is her husband.
Yeah. So Gavin is good at this. It was
this one.
Short clips.
This right here.
So if you missed our video yesterday, she put together a really good explanation. So let me explain. Well,
before you
do that,
okay,
I want to play the big video, the breaking news video. Oh, that's Donnie Trump. My page doesn't exist.
I'm so glad about this. It's time. It's finally time for the mass exodus. Let my people go. Well, guess what? We're leaving. You don't own us. We're not your slaves. We're leaving your platforms.
Go to Twitter. They need to see this, and we're going to have to watch this a couple times. I want you to walk them through it.
All right, we're right here.
Okay, so...
Well, let me press pause here. You know, Twitter's video is really weird.
Okay, so... The previous videos, let me set it up. You've seen the videos. You guys watched our show last night. I mean, you're going to see it again in like 2 minutes. Where this is the stage, okay? They put Antifa agitators at the front, and they create the optics of storming the building and going after police because Antifa already hate police.
Right.
Okay? Then... They have there's the videos of the Capitol Police moving the barricades.
We showed that yesterday.
And waving them on. So then I don't know who's at the front of these doors and why they're at the front of the doors and why anybody would think they're going to get in the building. Like no one in their right mind would think that.
They were going because the cops were waving them to come in, and I don't care who you are, as an American or maybe even around the world, and especially as a conservative, if the police is telling you to do something, you don't think you're the bad guy telling me to do something wrong.
If a police moved a barricade and waved me in, I would think that maybe that was for a reason. Like
for safety purposes?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When we watch this video, I want you to pay attention to a couple of things. One guy says, are they going to lock us in here?
Right. Okay.
Jeez, it's unbelievable. If I make it big, then they won't be able to see. I'll be in the way. We will be in the way. So I've got to make us super small if I'm going to make it big.
If only it was that easy.
Traitors!
They're gonna lock us in.
You can disagree with it, but respect me.
I'm going to rewind that real quick. I want you to catch what he says.
You can disagree with it, but respect me.
I don't know who says that.
That's a cop. Watch it again. Look at this cop on the right-hand side. I disagree with it, he says.
You can disagree with it, but respect me.
Come on.
Look how, does that look like a storming of the Capitol building to you?
Traitors! Get inside now.
Is that the cop escorting this person? Why is that cop with that person? Or is that just like somebody in riot gear?
Where are the rest of the videos of that, though?
Right?
Okay,
they were
so
just let in. Now you want me to play Millie?
Yeah. It's muted.
My name is Catherine. I'm a small business owner. I came out here to support Trump. It was pretty terrible yesterday. All of us were fairly peaceful. There were a couple of undercover Antifa that were in the group. They were disguised. Some of them had red bandanas, but most of them were wearing like Trump hats, either backwards or like loosely fitted, in order to kind of like stand themselves out.
I'll just let you know, man, it was a peaceful protest. We were sitting there. You know, you've got some kind of actors that are trying to goad people into doing stuff, but it was almost like the cops just let everybody in. It was like we didn't storm the Capitol. We actually walked up the steps right there. There was a couple like groups over that busted through, but other than that, I mean, it was almost like they just let everybody else through. Like once a group kind of busted through, it was like they were just
turned around and
a mad. It wasn't even a mad rush. It was just everybody walked over there. It was like as soon as they took 2 or 3 steps after the cop line, the cops just kind of backed off and just let everybody walk over there.
Police are squabbling with protesters. Oh, there we go.
When I was walking to the Capitol, I have a broken foot, so I left early to try to avoid the crowd. And I was walking, and this guy with pads on and kind of like army colored clothes, he was like talking in a walkie-talkie, and he goes, all right guys, I've got like a team of 6 guys, blah blah blah. And I just thought, oh, it's ex-military getting all really excited about like all his buddies are here. But then I saw him on the news last night, and I was like, holy shit, that was Antifa. And I know that when I was up there, one of the guys that was like pounding on the window, this cute girl, I think she was Cuban, she had a little tutu on, but she screamed like Antifa, Antifa, and like some guys grabbed him.
Those are Trump supporters stopping Antifa.
Stopping violence.
I saw a guy in a gray jacket, no Trump parapet at all, with a little mini hammer or something like that, breaking the window. And then I saw 3 Capitol Police tackle him, and that was it.
They're cheering because they got the Antifa guy down. To stop.
America, we are under attack, not by these police officers necessarily, but by the deep state. Here we are in the middle of a militant, leftist, deep state, globalist operation trying to make Trump supporters look like idiots and that we're violent agitators. With truth and fact, there are people dressed up in MAGA hats and other gear that are pretending to be MAGA supporters, and they're instigating, and they're playing on the emotions of all Trump supporters. Listen to this. Listen to this. These are people that love the cops. We love the police, but a few Antifa dressed up as Trump supporters.
They were dressed as Trump supporters, but I could tell by their conversation that they were looking to do, and I heard them say, we got to shake this up so that these people look bad. And I saw them break a window on the Capitol. I'm an emergency management coordinator in Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, and these people were talking amongst themselves, and I was standing and listening behind them what they could do to make Trump's people look bad.
One marked state trooper vehicle, 2 black SUVs, there's 3 state vehicles, state trooper vehicles escorted 4 Antifa shuttle buses right here front center. There was actually 5 vehicles total. There was 3 up front, 2 in the back. They escorted right here, waited for them to get off their buses, and they had the state troopers unloaded and took their positions. Check this out, watch. Here's the black SUVs up front, and wait till you see who leads it.
Wow. They freaking brought damn Antifa here.
They escorted them here.
You've
literally.
got to be.
Lights flashing and all.
You've got to be effing kidding me.
Lights flashing.
Patriots, are you guys watching this? You guys share this video, please. You've got to be kidding me.
A lot of Trump's people started saying, these aren't our people, and started walking away.
We out there strapped. We out there ready to burn that shit down. We out there to defend our fucking self. We got to defend ourselves now, too.
We do. Because power to the people. We got fucking rip Trump out of that office right over there. Fucking pull him out that shit. Nah, we ain't about fucking waiting until the next election. We about to go get that motherfucker. I ain't about that shit. Because you know what time it is? I want y'all to be after me. It's time for a revolution. It's time for a revolution. It's time for a revolution.
Utah John Sullivan is the founder of Insurgents USA, a civil rights group. He says he was in D.C. to document Wednesday's protest and found himself behind the group that eventually made their way inside the Capitol, and he climbed in through a broken window.
They weren't really trying to burn anything down. They weren't really trying to break anything. Their main motive was to make it into the chambers.
And in that process, one woman was shot and killed. John was standing right next to her when it happened. John says police were no match for the overwhelming amount of people inside.
Those protesters got angry and they busted through those officers really quickly.
You got misconception. You got it all on film right there, I swear. You got this.
So it's really, really unfortunate that a really amazing movement and some really incredible people came together to kind of fight a fraudulent election, and now they're slandering us. But it's kind of ironic because all these cities were burning all summer, and where was the criticism then? Just gonna say.
So good. Thank you, Millie and Gavin, for putting that together. They continue to be on the front lines. They were there yesterday, and I saw she tweeted out and was asking people, if you have any footage, this is really urgent, we're putting this together, let me know. But guys, when you think about the censorship that everyone, not just us, have received, they have gone to the most extreme lengths to make sure that we don't talk about the ELECTION at all. They've lost their minds over it. And you really think, and I'm only speaking to those that really do know the truth, that are kind of wondering, like, maybe it was Trump supporters. Okay? No. You really think that Antifa had plans. You just saw that come across the screen. We're going to be there. We're going. Where were they? No one saw any Antifa. So what, did they just cancel their plans? No, I saw a text message dated from 3 days ago, or 3 days prior, I think, saying we're going to be there and we're all going to wear our hats. Everyone wear your Trump hat backwards, right? So you can't be identified. I look like I'm a chef here, but seriously, that was their plan.
Lisa says, my friend said the same. They could tell they were not patriots. They tried to get everyone mad. They acted like bullies. Yeah, BLM has been doing counter intel, posted in their groups that what hotels patriots would be at and other stuff, and were there inciting, then posted their videos with titles like Trump supporters broke window, etc.
Right. And I've seen videos of Antifa members after the fact bragging on it, because guys, no offense, they're not the smartest people in the world. They're kind of white trashy, and I hate to use that term, but like the video that I saw was like, no, they're trying to say it wasn't us. It was totally us. We had this plan. This is what we do. Like, it was a white guy. And I'm just like, they're offended because when you pull off a crime, you want people to know about it. And so when it's over and done, they still want their props. We did that. Give me my props. Well, guess what?
Parlor
We're giving it to you.
Down.
We're giving it to you. I'm not convinced that Parlor being down is. I guess I'm just a conspiracy theorist.
Dave Rubin says Trump now seems more powerful, and the chances of healing now seem much worse. That's some fine work over there, Jack.
Yeah, that's true.
Richard Grinnell says the left hasn't even taken power yet, and they've already overreached.
You think? Guys, this is such good news. Do you want to take a minute in the middle of our show here, Leah, and read your prophecy for...
I will. Let me read Donald Trump Jr. here. So the Ayatollah and numerous other dictatorial regimes can have Twitter accounts with no issues despite threatening genocide in entire countries and killing homosexuals. But the President of the United States should be permanently suspended. Mao would be proud. Mike Dice says, Mike Tyson's America has fallen. The War Room account has been deleted by YouTube.
Well, where else can we watch War Room Pandemic?
Text War Room at 888-111 get their app and watch it there. They are download the link, Real America's Voice. I'm going to pull it up.
What am I texting? 888 what? Read that number again.
Well, you can do it. You can just get Real America's Voice. That's they'll send the app to you. If you can go to
like the Play Store.
Play Store.
Android
and Apple Play Store.
So you want Real
America's
Voice.
Real America's Voice. And you can download. We're gonna have so many apps on your phone, any bigger phone. Just to watch these people. I loved going to the War Room on YouTube, but if I have to go to it,
and that's what I'm hoping, guys. I know we aren't Steve Bannon. I get that. Listen. When I put in Real America's Voice, at least on the Play Store, we get everybody. You got One American News Network showing up, Epic Times, Newsmax, President Trump News, Breitbart, Blaze, Mark Levin Show. You can download all these apps.
It's just been easier just to go to YouTube to watch them all. Now you have to go to them individually.
You do, and that's okay. But I'm hoping that we here at Resistance Chicks are worth following, even though we don't have our own app. But wherever we go, I hope you guys do follow us, because if they're coming after Steve Bannon and he's huge, it's just a matter of time, guys. And I hope that our show is worth enough for you guys to find us elsewhere.
You want to tell me that this is just in reaction
of what?
To the Capitol thing. Like, it wasn't planned.
Oh no, it was planned.
It wasn't planned. They didn't have these people on a list of when and where to go. YouTube put out the thing, started taking down videos. They've been ramping it up. They were waiting to axe War Room. Right. War Room was very specific. I kept watching them. They were like,
guys, it's any moment.
No, they were saying over again, we condone the violence. We condone the violence. It doesn't matter what you say or what you do.
You mean they don't condone the violence?
Yeah, we don't condone the violence.
We condemn it.
Yeah, we condemn the violence. We condemn violence. Sorry, condone. I'm Nancy. She's Maxine. We get our words mixed up.
Ellen, our website's not down. It's just down for mobile phones. It shouldn't be down for laptops and tablets. Go ahead.
We gotta fix that.
Leah, I got like 4 hours of sleep last night.
Calm down. Call Jay. No, just kidding. All right. Yeah. So I mean, you need
to understand something. When I go in to do something like that, we're talking. It's at least a 4, 5, maybe 6 to 8 hour fix for me. Okay, I'm not a techie.
Dude.
It takes me that long. We do this for free. I got a life I gotta live.
Calm down.
I had to make dinner today.
Michelle. It's a big deal now because everybody's being purged.
I get it. I can't make any promises that the mobile phone will be up this week. I cannot make any promises.
Calm down. We can change platforms to host our website if we have to. If that's the problem, we have resistancechicks.com.
Right. There's nothing. It just is going to take me some time. There's nothing. There's no one against us on our thing. It's not like we're being censored.
Right.
It's just a glitch. It's a glitch, and I have to
get a laptop. I know a lot of people don't like to do the laptop thing, but please get a laptop. It's what we have to do.
But guys, you don't have to find us on resistancechicks.com on your cell phone. We're on Rumble. We're on BitChute. All those things can be accessed from your cell phone. Right. We're on Facebook. We're on Periscope. Right. This is not the be all end all. Today it has to be done. If it was, if they kicked us off of YouTube, I'd stay up all night getting that mobile part of the website working, guys. Okay.
So our biggest following is on BitChute,
and I am hoping they get a live streaming capability up very, very, very soon.
So we want to search for not the videos, channels. Okay, Resistance Chicks, search for the channel. No matches found. What's that?
Do you have to put the name together? Sometimes it's a united thing. They get you on that a
there
lot.
We go.
We're
Search for
Chicks
Resistance
without the
Chicks,
space.
one word. One word, no space. There we are. So here's our videos breaking down. Is this happening right now? Breaking down what happened to the Capitol. Oh, we put it up on the 8th. Mom put it up on the 8th. So 8th.
That was yesterday.
So here's all our videos, and you can click on it, and you can comment on the videos, so I want you guys to go there. And we have, look at this, look at the people we got here. All right, look how many we got. You guys have a whole whole set of brothers and sisters on BitChute that she never even met before. Go and talk to them and engage with them and reply, because they're there because they want to hear it. Right? And so they agree with you. So there's a lot of great information here.
So they're telling me that Gab has live streams. Well, once Gab gets up and running, and like I said, I haven't revisited it.
Okay.
Just a minute ago, I was trying to get there. It's crashed. Once things let up.
Does
all right,
our system do live stream to Gab?
I can live stream to anywhere from here with I just need a certain code. It's all about the coding. And if I can get an RTMP from them, then I can do it.
Okay. So we're literally game planning with you guys right here, right now. Because they I'm laughing. I don't know why. It makes me giddy.
No, I'm only upset that my website's not working on mobile phones. Outside of that, I'm going to flush that. Phew, gone. Oh my gosh.
We're
this
all
is incredible
going together.
to me.
Here's the thing. The problem with the taking off the Alex Jones and the Milos and the Laura Loomers, and everybody's like, well, I'll just pretend like I was never on Alex Jones's show.
Right. Well, but good news for Alex and everybody else that was already kicked off. Tommy Robinson is one of the biggest players on Parlor. So we all get there and Tommy's like, already got my following, sit down.
I know. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it's great.
And Parlor is not user friendly, but somebody had said, Raheem was like, yeah, but Twitter wasn't user friendly in the beginning. Nobody liked it.
Exactly.
And they got better and they got better and they got better and they got better and they got better. So what does it say that Parlor is down? And Parlor, again, Dan Bongino is probably like you. Guys, I'm working on it.
I know.
I'm working on it.
Exactly.
You just like sent 1 million more people to our, so the
and in Dan Bongino's defense, well, he doesn't do any of the coding or anything like that, but in Dan Bongino's defense, I mean, he's fighting cancer.
Exactly.
So don't give Dan.
So
Bongino
let me give you
a hard time.
some good news. Here's Vernon Jones. He just switched from Democrat to Republican, and now they're trying to Patriot Party because like Republicans are blah blah blah. I am not for a third party, but I am for a third party. Let me tell you what you do. It's like the Tea Party. You don't run as a Tea Party. You create your whole network under the Patriot Party.
Yeah.
And then you run as a Republican.
Exactly.
Be smart. Don't be stupid. You don't want to split the ticket. You just want your guy on the ticket as the Republican. You primary people. Okay? The only way you get these people out is if you primary them. That's the easiest way. Don't be stupid. Okay?
So is Gab's app not available for download anymore? I'm not seeing it under, everything else comes up, but I don't think that's this. I'm not seeing the classic G, like the Gab G.
Well, you can click on the description.
See. One just says social, and then underneath.
Gab.
Is that it? Is this the Gab app with that blue eagle looking thing, guys? I'm not going to download something that's not.
You read about it and say if that's Gab.
Social network of the White Eagle Group. That cannot be it.
No, that's not it.
No way. So I'm just saying, because somebody had said that they're saying that the Gab app is still working, even though the website's down, if you still have it. And I'm like, so what? That you can't get the Gab app? You got to get it from like their website or something?
Maybe you
but you can't get their website because the website's down. Gab only works on Android. I got an Android.
Okay, now let me make one thing clear. I haven't changed. Oh, wait, did I read the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I refuse to remain silent. My name is Vernon Jones. I am an outgoing state representative in Georgia, a lifelong Democrat, and the newest member of the Republican Party. Now, let me make one thing clear. I haven't changed. The Democrat Party has changed. It's become a toxic combination of radical leftists and liberal elites, many in San Francisco and Hollywood, that have taken over my former party. Grandstanding Democrats and well-paid talking heads on TV don't seem to understand how many Americans feel left behind and ignored by their leaders in Washington. They've hijacked the civil rights movement for money and corrupt political gain. Instead of focusing on the real divisions dragging Americans down, we are fed a false narrative based on race baiting, identity politics, and widespread propaganda fed to the masses. Let's take the incident at the Capitol building Wednesday. We must oppose misguided, wanton violence. We must always defend the values that make America great, and misguided violence isn't the solution. The problem, I love how he says misguided violence. The problem with the permanent Washington political class is that instead of digging into why so many Americans are frustrated, they've chosen to ridicule, condemn, and misrepresent facts. It's only going to increase the discontent and disdain so many Americans have for D.C. Today's Democrat Party embraces identity politics and victimhood. I refuse to judge a man or woman by the color of their skin, and I refuse to accept victimhood as my destiny. Leaders of today's Democrat Party are more interested in cozying up to the coastal liberal elites than they are interested in representing America's hardworking men and women who want to provide for their families, make their communities better, and live fulfilling lives. I am proud to be a Republican. I am proud to join the party of Abraham Lincoln, Theodore Roosevelt, and Donald Trump. It is the party that best represents the great spirit of the individual and the Republican Party. And so with people like Vernon Jones, I don't want you to leave. There's no reason if you have a house. I keep saying this. You have a house. It's the party of Lincoln. Why go build another one? I had a dream about this. Like, don't be stupid.
No, you just flush out those that are in it.
Flush it out. That's how you get them out. You're not going to get them out on a third party. You don't need to. They took over yours. That's your house. I'm going to go build another house. They took over my house. No. You get them out of your house, man.
That's really good.
You just get them out of your house.
Right.
Let's listen to the chairwoman of Arizona's update.
She's awesome. Kelly Ward.
Hello, Arizona. It's time for the daily update from the Republican Party of Arizona. I'm your chairwoman, Dr. Kelly Ward, and it's good to be with you.
For Arizona, they have to use all the rocks
like
around the trees because there's no vegetation.
I was feeling a little bit down in the dumps. I was feeling sad, dejected, ready to give up yesterday. But over the last 24 hours, I really have perked up and come back to my same old fighting self. One of the things that really helped me today was I got to talk to President Trump. And that's very healing for me, and I want to give you some healing as well. I'm not going to share my entire conversation because obviously I'm not a leaker like some of the other people that have been fortunate enough to talk to the president. But I will tell you this, he was in good spirits. He is with us. He loves the United States of America, and he loves the American people. Have no doubt. Now, you might not have been able to see direct communications from President Trump very easily because Facebook removed him completely. Maybe forever. It's hard to say because Mark Zuckerberg apparently is the god of what we're able to see. He was banned from Twitter for about 12 hours, but he's back on Twitter now. But yesterday, he put out a message of unity, a message that we have to get back to law and order. And I don't know if you were able to see it, so I want to play it here today now.
I would like to begin by addressing the heinous attack.
No, I'm sorry. I love Donald Trump.
Calm,
it felt like
seamless.
Hostage.
This pandemic been the honor of my.
That we have. And the last 4 years show exactly that. So many accomplishments that President Trump and the America First team and the America First agenda have caused for the people of our state, of our nation, and really of the world. Look at things, the judges on the bench, getting rid of the individual mandate for Obamacare, building the wall, securing our border, Middle East peace, for goodness sakes. He has made so many promises and kept so many promises. I can tell you that he's given us an incredible foundation to build from. The Make America Great MAGA movement, the America First policies and movement that we have together is not going away. The differences couldn't be more clear between the guy that wants to go to the White House and the guy who's there now. And we, as the Republican Party of Arizona, as patriots, as liberty lovers, as freedom lovers, will continue that agenda because that's how we keep Arizona great and it's how we keep America great.
So what you saw me doing is I just realized what I have to do is I have to go and I have to look at all the people that I love to follow on Twitter and I have to write them down because they're not all on Parler.
Right.
And goodness gracious, it's hard to find people on Parlor.
It is really hard to find.
Because if you don't have it exactly, it doesn't auto fill in. It doesn't give you suggestions.
They don't have the algorithm that will give you this looks like you mean this. They just get you if you don't enter it in, and it's kind of that way. Like on BitChute, you put in resistance chicks, but it needed to be together resistance chicks.
Right.
All right. And I didn't know that when I needed to be telling people, but on
well, that's okay because Resistance Chicks comes up in the search.
Okay, good.
As the videos come up.
Okay, good. All right, that's really, really good. Let's see.
But I'm writing down people I need to try to follow, but with Parlor being down, and that's just going to take a lot of work to like 1,000, 2,000 times to just go and try to find all the people, but it's going to be worth it. And
they won't own us after this.
So somebody said, somebody said a picture of something like a big wave, and it's like the wave is here. Ride it.
Just ride it. We've been wanting to go all together. Everybody's like, I'm not going unless you're going. You going? I kind of want to go. Can we go? Can we all go? If everybody goes, I'll go.
There was a huge.
Now everybody's going, which we've already left.
Well,
I mean,
they made a lot of people go.
They made a lot of people go. I'm just saying. I guess I should say these people should have already had Parlor accounts, like a just in case kind of thing.
Yeah.
But back to that video by Kelly Ward there.
Okay.
She feels good and she feels in good spirits because she talked to the president. Now, my question is, there are a lot of well-known patriots, probably a few thousand, that Trump could be talking to right now.
Mm-hmm.
At least. Mm-hmm. Well-known patriots. Do you think that he called everybody today?
No.
Why did he call Kelly Ward?
Because she's upbeat and positive, and he probably wanted to really touch base with somebody who's been really, his learning. It's taken him a while.
I think he called her for another reason.
Okay.
What is she again?
The Arizona GOP head.
Hey, Kelly, what's going on in Arizona?
Yeah, exactly.
What's going on in Arizona? What's it look like in Arizona?
Right.
Does that sound like somebody that's given up?
Right.
Calling the head of the Arizona GOP? Find out what's going on in Arizona?
Right.
I don't think that sounds like somebody that's given up. I guarantee you that the phone calls that President Trump made today were probably to more people in certain states. We'll just put it that way. You understand? Yeah. Picking up what I'm throwing down here? Because I'm trying to throw it down gently.
Yeah.
And censored.
Right. So,
you called Kelly Ward. I mean, come on.
So, here is Lindsey Graham.
Born and raised in South Carolina.
In being harassed in an airport, which you should never do.
No, don't get up in the face of congressmen and senators.
Don't do what Maxine said.
Don't do what Maxine said. She has to fly a private jet.
We're not going to touch
Very interesting.
Maxine Waters, what did Cory Booker say? Cory Booker said to get up in these congressmen's faces, right?
It is today. It is today.
We didn't need Donald Trump to make these people mad. They just read the reports.
Mm-hmm. Christine, if you sent a picture to us on our Resistance Chicks direct message on Twitter, it's not there.
So in other news, because of the vicious attacks on the nation's capital, they have Olive Garden has revoked Sean Hannity's lifetime pasta pass.
Why did he get a lifetime pasta pass? How do you get a lifetime pasta pass? No more pasta for you.
All these corporations have come out to denounce the Capitol Hill.
I'll tell you what we can do at the Olive Garden. We'll take away your pasta pass. You get no more free pasta from us. That is how we save America.
General Flynn, 1.2 million followers. Sidney Powell, 1.2 million followers. Code Monkey. Let me make sure I find him again. He was so good. Code monkey run.
It'll just take some time as people parlay out other people's parlays.
He was the kid who came out and exposed a lot of the Dominion software stuff. He's a computer guy.
We're calling it Demon Minion.
Demon Minion. Gotcha. Who told me that's new?
I made that up.
And then GUR graphics, all the fun Trump graphics. Go ahead and write it down like I am, and make sure that you are following them on Parler. Of course, they're not going to, and it's going to be hard. It's like trying to guess a password.
No, it is because it's not. Because see how they are at GUR graphics.
Yeah.
You need to know exactly what their handle is.
Yeah.
In order to find them on Parler, it's so annoying. Even if you know their first and last name, you can't find them.
There's got to be a list of like, this was the person you followed on Twitter. Somebody's got to come up with the lists, and this is their name on.
Right.
Okay. Let's see here. Trish Reagan was talking about the big tech companies and the censorship, and I'm going to go here to about 2 minutes.
The bounds of what's in fact legal and what's not. Okay, so let's take all that aside and just talk about the people that were peacefully protesting outside. It's their right to do that. It's your right to have a political opinion, and not everybody's going to like it. But isn't that kind of what makes us America? Isn't that the beauty of this country, that we've always been able to kind of debate and discuss?
Right. See, and this is what I wanted to get into in this whole idea of the free market. You know, you and I as free market people, you're right. I think I am correct in saying that your political affiliation is not a protected class. So you could get into a situation where here in the United States of America, if you're a Trump supporter, you're getting fired because you're a Trump supporter, and that has been the case. However, this is a slippery slope because there are a lot of business owners out there who are conservatives who might say, "Oh, you're a socialist? You're a Biden supporter? Okay, well, you're out the door too." And then when you have these companies like Goosehead in Texas, who fired a guy, one of their attorneys, he's just sitting there at the peaceful protest. He wasn't doing anything illegal among the 100,000 plus who weren't doing anything illegal. And they fired him just for being there. See, and there's a problem when your company gets a reputation of being fascistic, that kind of permeates to the marketplace and you get a bad rep, right?
Well, I'm really concerned right now. Let me just say overall that you're going to see more of this. And I think that the left feels very emboldened right now. They feel like they have this covered because they can keep saying, "Oh, well, you know, you have to suppress conservative thought and you have to treat conservatives with such disdain and put them at arm's length and deplatform them and fire them, because otherwise, remember that time when they took over the Capitol building?" And they'll keep going back to that. And that's what's so unfortunate about this moment in time. Let me tell you, conservatives, they've got it right in terms of the overall foundation of where they stand and what they believe in. Conservatives believe in a meritocracy. They believe in opportunity for every single American, and they want to see an economic playing field with a strong, thriving middle class, because that is how we do succeed as a nation. And you know, I don't think that that's that different from what the left maybe fundamentally wants. What's different, Chris, is how you get there. One system believes you can redistribute wealth. The other system says, hey, give it back to the people so that they're incentivized to do more. And so we all kind of want the same thing, I should hope. It's just that there's two very drastic and different approaches to getting there. And right now we're in a situation where they want to shut down one side entirely. So if you believe in lower taxes and less regulation and the freedom to go to work, even in the middle of this pandemic, you are somehow wrong. As a human being, you need to be canceled. You need to be fired. You're done for. And think about what that could potentially do to our country when they have the Oval Office, Congress, and the Senate.
Right. And see, what I'm trying to do is game this out, is because if they get into this, if this is where it's going to go, then there's going to be, there cannot not be retaliation. There will be a whole bunch of pro-Americans out there who say of Goosehead Insurance, hey, I'm not going to do business with you because you're.
So I know it sounds dire, but I'm going to read to you a prophetic word. I hope it's going to encourage you. Let's see.
No, it does sound really dire, but to me, they have taken off their masks. They're going all in.
Yeah.
They are going all in, and it is going to backfire in their faces.
They went all in too early.
They did go in all too early.
They went all in too early. They should have waited. They should have waited. Be smarter. Be smarter. I don't know why my Gateway Pundit articles are not coming up.
So they're telling me in the chat that the Parlor app is gone from the Google Play Store. These people, Google, own and control the whole world. Not that you can't get on your Parlor app, but you can't download it now.
Oh.
Right? It's just not available on the Play Store.
Okay. So if you had it, it's still there because it's just an app. It's just a place to download the app.
It's a place because you'll be able to download it from other places. We're just going to have to get out where you can download the app.
No wonder they're freaked out. A new video photo shows 500,000 at Stop the Steal rally with tens of thousands of patrons. I feel like Donald Trump is not a give up kind of guy, right? Donald Trump Jr. is still on Twitter. And I feel like there's still enough of us on here for a minute. To get out the SOSs on where do we reconvene. Because 74 million people, at least 75, voted for this guy. We're not going anywhere. That's what he was saying. And then Twitter's like, Trump's saying that he's not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking down his Twitter account.
All right, so my cousin Tim says that it's still on the Apple Store as of right now. So if you guys have an iPhone and you do not have Parlor, go and get it
this
right
very second.
now.
This
Leave our
very
stream.
second.
Go do what you got to do. Go and get it. Go and get it right now. Jennifer on Facebook says, I'm still holding on and not ringing the bell, believing God is going to do more no matter how awful the news is right now.
You watched Michelle's video!
Thank you for the post and video the other day to keep me encouraged. Guys, do not ring that bell. Whatever you do, do not ring the bell. Thank you. Sluick Slav says, new Google has suspended the platform Parlor from the Google Play Store. Jennifer says, I haven't been able to get on my Parlor all afternoon. I don't think that's not an app issue.
So that's not coming up.
That's just, they're probably crashing because so many people are there.
So a pilot threatened to make an emergency landing after patriots filling their seats chanting USA. The Americans were flying on American Airlines.
Come on, it doesn't get more patriotic.
What if they had chanted American Airlines?
American Airlines. Yeah, exactly.
To Phoenix from Washington, D.C. when the pilot had threatened to land the plane in Kansas if they did not silence their pride for this nation. I'll pull this plane down in the middle of Kansas and drop people off. I don't care.
I will turn this thing around. I will take you all back to D.C. and drop you off. That is hilarious. It must be like a mom pilot or something. No, everybody, the chat on YouTube is still up. We're good.
Let's see here.
Flight attendants, and this is the way it's going to be. It's a 4.5-hour flight up to Phoenix. We'll put this plane down in the middle of Kansas and dump people off. I don't care. We will do that if that's what it takes. So behave, please. To pay attention to flight attendants, and this is the way it's going to be.
This is the way it's going to be.
4.5-hour flight up to Phoenix. We'll put this plane down in the middle of Kansas and dump people off. I don't care.
I don't care.
Walk Away movement has been utterly taken off. 500,000 people on Facebook. They're still on Twitter. I think it's some sort of coordinated attack, right? Because they're like, lessen the blow, allow them to stay here, and you take this guy off.
Yep.
And we'll take this guy off. Because if you guys get banned completely,
right,
it's like a frog in boiling water. Well, right. I'm still on Twitter though. No, they allowed you to do that. It's to let off some steam and then they take you off. That's what they did to Alex Jones, right? That's what they do to all these people. Now, Candace Owens sued.
Yeah, but that case is still pending, isn't it?
But she's got her Facebook back. They took her off of Facebook and she sued and she got her Facebook back.
Good for her.
So is she going to help us all do class action lawsuits or something?
That's an excellent question.
Oh, yeah. Pelosi said she wants to impeach Trump if he does not resign immediately. What the heck? He, supposedly he's only got like a week or two left.
Whoa.
What is...
This is excellent news, and I will tell you why. Does it really say she's threatening to impeach him if he doesn't resign?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, immediately.
You know what that means? That means that they're not trying to get him off so that he can't run again like everyone is saying. Everyone keeps saying, I got a phone call today. They're trying to impeach him so he can't run again. I said, guys, no. They're not trying to impeach him so he can't run again. They don't need that. They've got the systems. They've got the demon minion system. They don't need that. They've achieved it. It's not so that he can't run again. It's because between now and the 20th, dude's got some power.
Yeah.
And they scared.
He's still president, right?
They're terrified.
He's still president.
12 days of Trump in presidency has them scared poopless.
All right. Storming the U.S. Capitol was very fashionable when Democrats and communists did it in 2018.
That's a fact.
When the Democrat media complex is freaking out over some atrocious act, it's typically something they've condoned for years. And so we showed, remember the anti-Kavanaugh protest at the Senate Hart Building? And then Don Super reported how the media portrayed these brave activists who stormed the Capitol in 2018. What a difference 2 years makes. On October 4th, 2018, taking over the Capitol was just another form of protest. On that date, The Hill reported more than 300 people were taken into custody by police on the Capitol Hill. That's less than where we're arrested today, right? After descending on a pair of Senate office buildings Thursday afternoon to protest the confirmation of Brett Kavanaugh. The vast majority of the arrests, 293, were a result of protests in the Hart Senate office building, where protesters crowded in the atrium. Loud chants could be heard throughout the building, which is structured through the hallways of each floor open up and look out onto the first floor. Those arrested in Hart were charged with crowding, obstructing, or incommoding, according to Capitol Hill police. And then on Wednesday, CNN called pro-Trumpers protests who stormed the Capitol's rioters. So, yeah, you can see that at the Gateway Pundit, and then here at Don Suber putting this all together for us.
So I'm looking at this picture that Christine had me go to Parlor to look at.
Is it back up?
It is. Now, what it says, and I'll show you the picture in a second, but I can't make it bigger. David Reinert says, arrest in Italy. You've heard about Italy and Obama and all that stuff, and I'm not going to go into it because if we do go into that, we'll do it after we shut down the YouTube's feed. That Secretary of State Mike Pompeo walking in front, I'm sure your news will never cover it. Okay, now that does look like Pompeo, and that right there, but it may not be. We're not sure. And these are Italian police officers. I'm going to show you the picture in a minute. We don't know who this person is. You were thinking that it was Mitch McConnell. It kind of looks like him, but it's not. This is if whoever's posting this is correct, it's in Italy. Okay, and I'll show you guys the picture so you can see it. All right, they're saying that that bottom picture next to the red circle, that's Pompeo, and this is on Tommy Robinson's Parlor. So Christine wanted me to show that. I don't know what it is. I don't know anything about it. It is not Mitch McConnell. I can tell you that right now by looking at him. It's not. I don't care who's saying that. It's not. It's. I mean, I'm not. Leah, look at it again. There's 100% no way that's Mitch McConnell.
No,
that's not Mitch McConnell. But whoever it is, there are arrests going on in Italy probably. So. So yeah, we'll find out. We will find out soon enough.
So I have a video, I'm sure here, but I honestly do not know what's going on with my internet. I cannot get anything to work.
Probably not your internet. It's probably, all right. So while you're looking for that, this is a good time for me to tell you guys, it's going to get worse before it gets better. The good news is it's going to get better really soon. I'm talking in the next 2 weeks. But it is going to get better. So you guys have got to hold on to your butts. Okay? Don't ring the bell. Go watch my video that's called Don't Ring the Bell. Leah's going to give a prophetic word here that's going to get you guys really excited. You can go and watch Kent Christmas, a prophecy from him that'll get you excited. I shared a prophecy from, you guys may already be familiar with him, but let me pull up my YouTube history here. Millie just went live about President Donald Trump's Twitter account being permanently suspended. Chris Yoon, Y-O-O-N. He has some videos. He actually has an amazing video of, I saw the whole thing at the Capitol and here's what really happened. It's got 228,000 views. So we've got a prophet. Here, I'm going to turn this around so you guys can see. See there, here's my phone and my viewing history. I've got Pastor Kent Christmas there, Chris Yoon, Y-O-O-N. If you want to be encouraged tonight, go and listen to videos from both of them. But they're all getting the same words that God has been giving us, minus the end times thing. We may differ on that, doesn't matter, but we do have the same word for the next 4 years and the next 12 days. So everybody that I know that gets words from God is getting that we are having, it's going to be a great revival. God's going to show up essentially on a white horse, and it's going to be the biggest miracle that you have ever seen in your entire life. That is where we are. All right, headed.
So I'm going to read this because I thought there might be a video. So there was a small group that was on the front line during the storming of the U.S. Capitol. They asked us not to use their names or identifying information because they are unsure whether federal authorities will pursue them or if they will be harassed by left-wing doxers. They verify their stories with video and pictures of the event. I will quote their comments as Adam, Bill, Charles, and Duck. Most importantly, they all related that the crowd was completely nonviolent and the police instigated the violence against the protesters before they even got on the Capitol grounds. We were on the sidewalk first, up against some metal barricades and bleachers, waiting for President Trump to come speak at the Capitol at 1. 10 minutes before, thousands of people were on the street chanting F you Nancy and Stop the Steal on a megaphone, and people were getting upset because we had just found out that Vice President Mike Pence had gone back on a previous statement indicating that he would question the certification of electors. As the crowd found out that they had been betrayed yet again by the GOP establishment, lied to by someone as cowardly as Mike Pence, people's anger was visible. It's very interesting. It was a shock that was felt around the world.
Right, exactly.
There's a spiritual element there. How did they do that?
Absolutely.
They felt it on the ground. We felt it here during the president's speech.
Yep.
How did they do that? I need to know. There has to be some sort of metaphysical frequency that was let out.
Right.
Okay? Don't put it past the CIA to have something in the air, in the airwaves. You know what I mean?
Right.
As the crowd found out they had been betrayed and lied by someone as cowardly as Mike Pence, people's anger was visible. They unrolled a massive banner of vampire Nancy Pelosi, and it charged up the crowd.
Yeah.
But where did the banner come from?
That's an excellent
Who's
question.
they? Antifa? The streets were jam-packed and everyday people, grandma, children, families, lawyers, doctors. These families moved to the interior barricades. It wasn't aggressive, just peaceful. This is where the cops came in and they used overwhelming force. We were on the line with the barricade and out come the metal batons and they started hitting Trump protesters as hard as they possibly could. They were hitting old men and old women, people who for some reason brought their families to the event. I couldn't believe that there were young kids walking in this crowd, but the police were targeting the kids and hitting them with a baton across the head. It was vicious. They were regular police at this point. This action by police brought the crowd to a fever pitch, where they were demanding that they be treated respectfully, but instead the police began to either pepper spray or tear gas the crowd. They then found their way through 4 layers of barricades. As they were storming the Capitol, there was one guy who climbed up a tower and could oversee the entire battle. He knew exactly what to say and was steering people into the Capitol. It was straight out of a movie, Enemy at the Gates, when the Soviet commissioners were shouting at the people to move ahead. He was super old. This guy was clearly a combat vet. I can still hear him. If you don't move forward, Biden moves in. This guy was a real pro and was shouting at people that every step forward and to close the gaps, and that turning back was turning our backs on Trump. He said if we didn't move forward, then Pence was going to give us a Biden communism. He was 50 feet in the air and commanding the whole scene. He was telling people to pass bottled water ahead and other resources. I saw an older woman bleeding profusely. It looked like her eye came out of the socket. We could tell that the 200 riot police were being very careful to stay behind the barricades. So we thought that denying that to them would cause them to use less violence. There were metal connectors that we grabbed, and then we threw back at them like javelins. That caused the barricades to come loose, and then by then people were so angry that they started beating up the cops for attacking the kids and grandmothers. There was one very obese cop in particular. He was shooting people on purpose in the eyes with pellet pepper packs and was causing horrible injuries. I saw one older woman bleeding profusely. It looked like her eye, and then they tried to gas us. I've experienced tear gas before, and this wasn't normal. It smelled different. Its color was in the air, and it stung a lot more. You couldn't breathe. But what was happening was that it was just windy enough that where it was kind of hitting the frontline guys hard, but then dissipating through the crowd and not having the intended effect. That was in, according to the small group, protesters started disassembling the metal barricades to protect the police. The pandemonium of the police running away from the crowd and being attacked by some revealed that a larger force was flanking them on one side, expecting to come in and trap the large group of angry protesters whipped up by the police brutality. Just then, they were hit by repeated concussion grenades or flashbangs of some type that stunned them all. It was coordinated on all sides. The cops were hitting us with 6 cans of tear gas at once and multiple grenades. They were shooting at the same time. It felt like a shooting gallery, and they were the aggressors. They were shooting into the crowd several rows back, really for no reason. After the barricades came down and one of the last grenades exploded, it caused me to kind of reset and wake up, and my ears are ringing, and then in the sunlight you see the Capitol right in front of you, and you realize what has to happen next. The police were moving forward and advancing and about to control the protesters. So we see this happening, and we realize what's about to happen. These vicious cops are about to hurt all these people and then likely arrest us all, and there's no way to retreat without being trampled. So I turned to the guys around and yell out, "Mama didn't raise them, blank, blank, blank." And so we threw the barricades aside and rushed the Capitol. We had them on the run, and we knew they couldn't stop us. We used the scaffolding from Biden's inauguration platform to get into the complex. They put us in this situation where we had no options. We couldn't go back against the crowd. We were being pushed into these cops, and the cops were cracking skulls with metal batons for no reason. Then we could see that they were about to make things even worse. They made the situation and gave us no other options. The scene took another life of its own after that, where battles with the vicious Capitol Police and other police forces outside continued. When asked how many people got to the higher levels, that was hilarious. Someone noticed the crane for Biden's inauguration stand and took control over it. It became the magic lift for getting people into the building. It was like Bob the Builder and his magic lift for sieging the illegal pen certification. Really? There was something that told me that actually entering the building was too far, so I stayed outside, but it was tempting. The police were still trying to hurt people, and there was a surreal moment when a large group of grandmas came up and sat down on the Capitol steps. They were blocking the entrance for many protesters, and they were tired, and they didn't have anywhere else to sit. It felt like they thought Mike Pence was going to come out and give them ice cream or juice boxes and a personal tour. They had no idea what they were in the middle of, and none of us really did. No one was a professional protester here. They were just forced by necessity to move forward or get cracked in the head by a baton. One of the victorious women in the clashes with the cops, a 70-year-old grandma-haired woman, was fighting with the cops, and when they ran away, they left one of their helmets behind. Charles said, "People were getting serious injuries, and we were still winning. We aren't tired of winning." What is this? I don't trust this interview. So this grandma had her victory, and she took the helmet like it was her enemy's skull, and she walked over to the podium where Biden was going to give her inauguration, and she held it up and gave a roar. Now, this, to me, sounds like these people were Antifa instigators.
Mm-hmm.
You know? This doesn't sound right to me. None of it sounds right to me. It sounds off. And why the Gateway Pundit would decide to publish it, I don't know. But there you have it. That's a first-hand account. Weird. This is Technofog, who is off of...
But I don't know. That interview actually sounded genuine to me.
Mm-hmm.
The way they were saying that the cops weren't giving us a choice. The cops created this situation, and then we were just forced into it. What you were upset about was this grandma, okay, that got up.
Yeah, but he felt like, I don't know, it just felt weird.
It does feel weird, but what I'm saying is, I think that the entire situation was so chaotic that you and I honestly don't know what we would have done in that situation, because it's like when you go into the training to be who knows what, CIA, they set you in a cage for whatever, and they torture you a little bit, and they deprive you of water and people, and they mess with your brain to disorient you, and they play things on the loudspeaker and stuff. I think that this whole situation was meant to disorientate people, so they don't know which way is up. Do you remember when we were in Florida? Leah loves to tell this story. And my mom and I were getting knocked over by waves. And they were only the water was like 3 feet deep.
Yeah.
And the waves kept knocking us over. And I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm going to drown in 3 feet of water. And I'm a really good swimmer. Right. I was like 14 at the time. And I couldn't figure out almost which way was up, because every time I stood up, I got hit by a wave and I didn't know what to do. And if that situation was happening and people are throwing punches at you, it's like survival at that moment. So we have to go back to, so I'm not going to say that woman wasn't a little bit deranged by whatever was happening.
Yeah.
Okay? But I do know who instigated it, who started it, who perpetrated it, and who pre-planned it and dropped off those Antifa people to create this chaotic situation. Right. And they expected Trump supporters to do far worse.
They did.
And they didn't, because the Trump supporters were trying to stop the paid instigators.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that.
But I'm not going to say that if, as a Trump supporter, if I was in that situation and I didn't know what was going on and I didn't know Antifa was there and all I knew is the cops are like harming me and I'm being pushed forward, and who knows that, like, if the cops are shooting at you and you're innocent, they do instantly become the enemy.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So they did this, and it was an act of abuse.
Yeah.
And treachery towards these people. And it's sad. It's so sad. All right. What else do you have for us, Leah? When do we need to cut away?
We're going to cut away after this, actually. Dave Rubin here, and Carl and a bunch of people talking about.
Three of us, we've been in this for a while, but you were a knitter.
I was knitting, Dave. I was knitting a year and a half ago.
That word.
And I will say that Ravelry, I actually had a knitting group that I recently created on Ravelry called Crafting Rebels, and my knitting group has been banned on Ravelry as of yesterday with no explanation. So the knitters are still at it. But no, I have been inundated with emails and messages from people basically saying that they had the same experience at the Capitol that I did, that they did not realize that there was violence. They did not realize what was going on. They were sitting around having a good time and, peacefully expressing their First Amendment rights, and they are floored at what's happening. And it's like, it is overwhelming to me. It is overwhelming that in a country where we watched for months as Black Lives Matter and Antifa rioted, lit fires up and down the streets in all these major cities, including Washington, D.C., and we're told that this was a peaceful protest. Peaceful protest should be uncomfortable, Dave. Don't you know that protests should be uncomfortable? Yeah. And we had to watch this for months.
AOC.
And there was one Trump rally where things got admittedly out of hand. And I think, I have condemned the violence. Many people have condemned the violence, and it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right.
So we've got here on Periscope, there was no chaos. No, I disagree. There was no chaos. This is not true. That part is true. I don't know what you're talking about, saying that you were there and you're saying it was all staged, but that there was no chaos. I don't understand the difference there, because all the evidence that we are seeing come off of the footage, the actual video footage, and we watched it live. We were watching Right Side Broadcasting broadcast live when the police were shooting tear gas into a crowd, and we've seen the video footage of Antifa trying to break glass and the Trump supporters trying to stop them. All of that sounds pretty chaotic to me. Now, if you're talking about the rest of the Trump supporters all over DC, the rest of the way back, except for the first, the top of the Capitol, yeah, that was not chaotic. That was great. Those people are awesome. But up front, we know that was Antifa infiltrated in the very front of the Capitol, instigating all of this. That's pure chaos. That is pure chaos.
Jack on Twitter actually advocated for the Arab Spring in America. That was a violent uprising.
Yeah,
Violent uprising that actually overthrew the government.
Yeah.
But you see how fast he wants to stop that now the real people are calling his bluff. People are saying, I don't want to hear build your own parlor, build your own app ever again for free market people. Because they're taking that down. Build your own app. Build your own Twitter. Build your own internet. Just build your own internet. Build your own computers.
Yeah.
Build your own electricity.
So when Twitter
build
comes
your
out,
own telephone lines.
So when Twitter comes out and
build
says,
your own bank.
We can be shielded, and Google says we can be shielded from because of 230, right? Because we aren't publishers. But you go build your own, because technically we are a publisher. So when they say you go build your own, but you own it all, and every single phone out there, whether it's an Android or an iPhone, is using either I don't know what the iStore is. I have no idea. I don't have an iPhone, but we all have the Google Play Store. And if you take someone's app off of Google Play, what choices do we have?
So Prager University is like, oh my gosh, Twitter's taking my followers away. No. Twitter's taking your followers away.
Oh, wow. No, that's good. Who just said that?
No, I did.
Came up with that.
Everybody's like, I'm down 1,000 followers. I'm down 5,000 followers. They're taking my followers away.
They're not.
They're literally taking your followers away. I just got a message from a friend of mine who said her husband was at the rally. He just had his Twitter account taken down. He has 11 followers. He's not an account, but because he went to the rally, he was taken down.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time, guys. It's only a matter of time. Honestly. So here's what I'm going to have to tell you guys. ResistanceChicks.com. Because in a moment with the Thanos, right? In a moment with Thanos, we could be gone off of YouTube, Facebook, Parler, or Periscope, which is Twitter.
Twitter says it will take action to limit the use of POTUS and the White House if it becomes clear President Trump is using them to evade his permanent ban. POTUS is a separate account and the White House is a separate account.
Oh, yeah. Barry, I checked out Purge TV. I don't like it. I couldn't figure it out. So we will find something. I promise you guys that. But in the meantime, ResistanceChicks.com and Rumble and BitChute. All of our streams will be available there. Please follow us and we'll let you know wherever the new live stream is.
I have one last story for you. The one that Jack lets up. Let's stay
look, there we were.
up.
Is this our Twitter? This is our Twitter behind us?
Yes.
While it's still there.
For a second. I feel bad a little bit because we weren't there. But if we were there, we would be gone. I have to believe that. They would have identified that we were there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I think that's the only reason.
Now, Millie was there. I don't know if her Twitter is still up.
Yeah, I know. So I'm going to share with you guys this tweet. Don't have to bring up the whole article.
Oh, this is totally allowed.
This is the Chinese embassy in the U.S. who are making responses to the concentration camps that they keep the Uyghurs in. So they keep the Uyghurs in. They're admitting to keeping the Uyghurs in. They admit to de-radicalizing women in these concentration camps. Study shows that in the process of eradicating extremism, they make Muslims eat pork, drink alcohol, sing songs to the CCP. The minds of Uyghur women in Xinjiang were emancipated. And gender equality and reproductive health were promoted, making them no longer baby-making machines. They are more confident and independent.
Now, Jack literally gave a response defending.
Email from Twitter spokesperson. This tweet is not in violations of our policies. Actually, so what this means is slavery
is
okay.
Not just slavery. Not just kidnapping.
A concentration camp and sterilization.
Sterilization. And then touting that these women are happier when they sterilize them. These are forced concentration camps. Forced.
The state regularly subjects minority women to pregnancy checks, enforces intrauterine devices, sterilization, and even abortion on hundreds of thousands. Interviews and data show, while the use of IUDs and sterilization has fallen nationwide, it is rising sharply in Xinjiang. The population control measures are backed by mass detention, both as a threat and as a punishment for failure to comply. Having too many children is a major reason people are sent to the detention camps, with the parents of 3 or more ripped away from their families unless they pay huge fines. Police raid their homes, terrifying parents as they search for hidden children. Thursday's tweet from the Chinese embassy in the United States links to an article, I read it last night, in China Daily, a publication of the CCP, that disputes these claims. The article claims that as China has eradicated this religious extremism from the region, Uyghur women have freely chosen to use birth control more, leading to a decline in birth rates in the region. It dismisses claims by some Western scholars and politicians that China is engaged in forced sterilizations. Twitter regularly takes down content that violates its rules. Twitter's rule against hateful conduct states that users may not promote violence against or directly attack or threaten other people on the basis of race, ethnicity, or religion. Twitter also bans the dehumanization of a group of people. On Thursday evening, I emailed Twitter to ask whether the tweet ran afoul of its rules, and they said no, it does not. It does not violate the rules.
All right, read your prophecy, and then what we're going to do is we are going to, and I know you guys are going to get upset at me, we are going to cut down, we're going to stop the YouTube stream. And if you want to get the end of it, you'll have to either watch the end on Rumble and BitChute or jump over to Periscope and Facebook.
What I'm going to do after we cut the stream on YouTube, because I think you guys are going to want to hear this, I am going to go over some numbers.
Yeah, tell them what they're going to get when they choose to follow us. Doesn't matter which. Everybody's like, Facebook's so evil, Twitter's so evil, I'm not going there. YouTube took down Steve Bannon today. They've been taking down channels forever. They are just as evil. The fact that you're here and you think that this is a better, lesser evil, I mean, I know you're smarter than that. Let's put it that way.
So, Facebook will take us down regardless. We'll just see what happens.
You mean YouTube?
Facebook.
Eventually?
So, we're going to go do the numbers on Facebook.
Okay.
And on Twitter and Periscope.
Right.
Because so far they haven't said.
You just said Facebook would take us down regardless.
Regardless of, they have the numbers. If I say the numbers or not.
You said Facebook.
Yes, Facebook. Here's the thing. I'm not worried about taking down Facebook because they will take us down if I say the numbers. If I don't say the numbers, they just randomly will take me down.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Are you? My question is, why would you go on Facebook and say the numbers? They're gonna take me down no matter what.
Eventually.
Okay. There's nothing I can or cannot do there. Right. So, all right. Let's read this.
Leah's got this word, this prophetic word for you guys that you are not gonna want to miss. It's so powerful. Periscope does have a live video app now, but Periscope is going away at the end of March. But like Leah said, we only need a couple weeks. Did you write it in an email?
I write it to myself so that I can always have them.
Okay.
Do you think I set this whole thing up in the stars and the planets and the blood moons and the solar eclipses from 2014 to now? God has been moving in the stars. There was a blood moons in 14 to 16 on the Hebrew days. We had a solar eclipse in 2017 that went from coast to coast. And Michelle had this prophecy of this eagle going from coast to coast. Powerful stuff. And then we had the stars aligning there on the 21st.
We do not do astrology, just to be very clear. And we're not weird numbers people. We're not weird planet people. But the Bible is very clear that God speaks to us in the planets.
In the signs in the heavens. So there's He's speaking to us. What do you think the Star of Bethlehem is?
Exactly.
Hello. simply to usher in a reign of terror and communism and censorship and Baal worship? Do you think I called on my people to fast and pray and turn from their wicked ways, to see the world, the economy, the majesty of America as a city on a hill, to see the nation who didn't just call upon my name like no other, but was called by my name like no other since the nation of Israel? Do you think I ask my children, whom I deeply love and care for, to put their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor on the line, simply to abandon them at the very last minute and let them be mocked, ridiculed, and spat upon? Those who would think that do not know the nature of God. They do not know that he is turned by a mustard seed of faith. How much more a forest of trees singing out his praises, like we've been seeing for the past couple months. So many people calling on him to come. Now I will say that my people do not know the manner in which I will come, just as they did not know or understand the manner in which I spoke about when I first came. They did not understand that my coming would be in judgment upon those who mocked my children, upon those who knew better and denied Christ anyways. That was AD 70. At that time, the enemies of Christ went absolutely insane, and they destroyed themselves from within. Watch our Revelation Red Pill. Josephus speaks about this. Tiberius did not want to tear down the temple, but it was foretold that it would happen. It was torn down so the new temple could be built, a temple without walls, a new Jerusalem without borders. For the temple of God is now within each of every one of us, as Christ dwells within us, and the city is made up of the body of Christ from every corner of the world and is connected divinely to heaven itself. My children, smile. My children, laugh. My children, be filled with joy. Weeping may endure for the night, but joy comes in the morning. You will be ridiculed and mocked no more. For when they ridicule you and they mock you and Trump supporters, they ridicule and they mock me. You stand for innocent lives being lost in war. You stand up to the corporations. You stand up to China. You stand up for those lost in abortion. And so my spirit has called upon your spirit and told you beforehand what I was going to do. God did not say anything about a date of January 6th. He did not speak it to the founding fathers, and it is not in the Constitution. The only date that matters is that which is written in the Constitution, and that is January 20th. And so on or before the day before, God is going to move in such a way, but you will know it is him, but you won't understand how such a thing could ever come to pass. It is completely unpredictable. I mean, completely unforeseeable. Nothing in the natural world would have pointed to this, not a thing. And like John who saw Revelation, those who do see into the future, it will not make sense to anyone reading it until they see it. And then they will understand. But even then, possibly only a small amount of people will understand. How could God fix this whole thing in a day? How could he bring about the salvation of America, fixing Brexit, fixing the totalitarian regimes all over the world, getting rid of COVID and masks and shutdowns all around America, bringing families back together, letting love and joy and peace and reign all over the world? How could he bring us to this place where the earth literally stands still for an entire day? That day is for January 20th. I believe it's the 19th into the 20th, the 21st. It's like a one big day thing. Why does God always go up to the very last moment when it looks like all is lost for the most triumphant entry possible? Amen. And so everyone would know that it is him and him alone, and God will not share his glory with man. Our founding fathers understood this, and they gave praise to divine providence during the entire Revolutionary War and afterwards. There are very few like them in the world, and at least in prominent positions. But those who are like those founding fathers, those who have been hiding or undercover, no one knows their names. They will arise and they will take their place in the seats of honor, for they foretold and saw what God was doing, and they believed when everyone else decided to give up and not believe. Many men and women think they are ministers of the gospel when they are substitute teachers. They're substitute teachers, and he might need to go potty. They're substitute teachers of the worst kind, because they don't know the subjects that they teach. And they certainly don't know how to apply them to real life to help people and to change the world. There are people who actually use the gospel day in and day out in their daily lives. And they should be running the government, and they should be running the churches, and they should be the ones people look to for advice. They're the ones who are unemotional and unmoved by negative reports. They're the ones who turn to Christ in every traumatic situation and find a glimmer of hope. Because that glimmer shines light in the darkness for all around. You will not see this coming. Just as you did not see the Capitol siege coming and the setup. My people, if you get into my word, you get to my spirit, though I will show you, if you get into my word and you get into my spirit, I will show you what will happen on January 19th, 20th, and 21st, so that you will know that this was me and no one else. Why would God do that? How did he do that? For years, people will wonder how God did that, but it will happen. Don't try to speculate or contemplate on what could happen, but focus on who is bringing the happening. This happening will take place on or before January 20th, for all eyes to see as the clock ticks down. Donald Trump was right when he said, before his Twitter was taken down, today, his last tweet, that you will be mocked no more. But it won't be because of something Trump can do in his own power. But it will be because of something Trump will do in the power of God, because you lifted him up in prayer. He will take you over the finish line. He will not leave you. He is a fighter, and that's why I chose him. Just as you carried him to this position and this place, he will carry America over the finish line, and you will probably go with him. Walk him over the finish line. You will be the winners. You will be victorious. Nothing shall by any means harm you. I will keep you all, and not a hair of your head will be harmed. Above all, my people, smile, smile, smile. A cheerful heart is good like medicine, but a broken spirit dries up the bones. Get through these next 2 weeks with joy, unspeakable joy, full with glory. The joy of the Lord will give you strength. Think on him. Think on his word. Meditate on his word. Meditate on his goodness. Meditate on his kindness. Meditate on his love. Meditate on his justice. God is just, and his justice does not sleep forever. So be glad and rejoice. God has us all under control. This was his plan, not the Q plan, God's plan. When somebody tells you to trust God's plan, trust God's plan. Eye has not seen nor ear heard, nor is it come into the mind of man, but what God has planned for those who love him. He knows you, and he loves you, and he knows that you love him. He's heard you, and he's been with you all these times. He's heard your cries. You have been heard. When we pray according to his will, we know that he hears us. And if we know that he hears us, we know that we have the petitions granted to us that we ask.
All right. So good. That's so powerful.
Did you leave the dogs outside?
I did not leave the dogs outside. They just went tinkle and then I brought it back in. This is yours. All right. I know a lot of you guys are probably in your living room watching this on the big screen TV, truly on YouTube. And that may be how you always view us. Maybe you don't view us on your cell phone. And this is really disappointing for you. I don't know. It's not going to be that long of a little segment that we're going to do. Okay.
No, but you got to get used to it, because
you're going to have to get used to it. Just pull us up on your cell phone. Exactly. You're going to have to find some other way to watch us. You know what? You can cast us to your TV. If your TV has the same Wi-Fi as your cell phone, you can literally press the 3 little button there. Let me see if I can. This is that. Oh shoot! It just went away. You got to press it. You press the actual video stream. I guess I should be showing you this from Facebook. But on Facebook, you can cast us to the. Oh, no, that is Facebook. I am on Facebook. Duh. All right. So if you're on Facebook, press this, and then you see that square box. Whoa, right there. Press that, and you can cast it to your TV. All right. So we just have a few things that we're gonna go over, some numbers and stuff like that. And like Leah said, it doesn't matter. Facebook is gonna delete us regardless. And so it doesn't matter what we say there. But on YouTube, we may be able to retain the integrity of our channel if we just don't talk about that kind of stuff at all. So
I want to be uncensored, and I'm less concerned about my Facebook page. So I'm going to say some stuff that's going to be completely uncensored. I'm just going to say it. So I think you're going to want to hear it. So come over to Facebook and Twitter.
In the chat, I put the links to our Twitter. We're actually on Twitter. So every time we say Periscope, we're meaning Twitter. Okay? Periscope is its own app, but it gets sent to Twitter. You can just watch it straight from Twitter. So if you have Twitter, you can watch us there. I think even if you don't have Twitter, you may be able to use that link that I put in the chat and click on it and go and watch it there. You just might not be able to join in the live chat.
You're not going to want to miss this. Go there or watch the replay on BitChute. Okay.
And Rumble. Okay. No, hang on. I haven't signed off yet, but we love you guys so much. We are so thankful, and thank you for being here on YouTube. All right? I think that you guys would agree. You want us to be able to say what we need to say and still keep our YouTube channel. So we're going to try to walk a nice thin line here. It may not work. When you dance with the devil, you get burned. But we're going to try.
Here's the thing. And honestly, I'm going to need to be making another video that's recorded because we haven't found a good live stream that's uncensored just for like Parlor. So it feels like cool. It feels cool because like if you subscribe behind the paywall, you get this special stuff.
I'm not doing a Patreon. This is a lot of, they do this all the time with the Mug Club with Steven Crowder and stuff. And they ask you like, well, and the Blaze TV. And I always get so mad. Like, I can't give you everybody money. Okay? Like, I can't. We're not asking you guys for donations. This is 100% free. It's always going to be free. I'm not going to start a Patreon.
But we won't be here if I say on here what I want to say. And I'm only going to go half 50% what I want to say in just a second.
All right. So I'm literally shutting y'all down on YouTube. I love you guys. God loves you. God bless. I know our show's not going to end the same way because I'm not going to play the actual ending. The boom, chicka boom, boom, chicka boom. We get that at the end of Facebook and the end of the credits.
Ramon, I will answer your question. Come talk to me. Come to Facebook and Twitter for now.
All right, you guys. If you're on YouTube, we are signing off. We love you. God loves you. God bless. Please follow us over to Facebook and Periscope. And I will promise to let you know, or Twitter, where we go, what the next platform is going to be. I will let you know as soon as we get it figured out. So there you go. All right, you guys.